What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I want to read you a tweet from President Trump last night. It says, 2,000 plus 2,000 plus other family members. Not 600. Remember, it was China's fault. This was President Trump's tweet last night. He is calling for not only Congress to give filers $2,000, he's calling on Congress to give filers $2,000 and their family members an additional $2,000. That's $2,000 per filer, $2,000 for their spouse, and $2,000 for child dependents. That is huge. This also makes it very difficult to get a deal done because many people in Congress, many lawmakers, mostly Republican, do not support a $2,000 stimulus check per person simply because it's too expensive. That's it. Now, I'd like to tell you what is going to happen. I'd love to give you an idea of what is going to happen, the next steps. For example, if we were to see Mitch McConnell come out today or tomorrow and say, we can agree to not only, we won't agree to $2,000 stimulus checks, but we will agree to a $1,200 stimulus check per filer, $1,200 for their spouse, and $1,200 per child dependent. If we see that, and we see Mitch McConnell come out and say, we will also provide some type of compromise for the NDAA, we will come to some type of agreement as far as what President Trump calls wasteful spending that he approved. If we see that today or tomorrow, then we could see a stimulus package deal get done. However, we aren't seeing those steps. We're not seeing those actions, those things come into place. We haven't even heard from Republicans. First of all, $2,000 stimulus checks for filers is a long shot with the Republican Senate at this time. But when you add in an additional $2,000 per family member, especially if there's no cap, $2,000 per family member, that gets way too expensive for Republicans. Senator Rand Paul, he's been the most vocal. He says that his kids, they have jobs, they could use a stimulus check, but they don't need it. So do not give a stimulus check to people that do not need it. Do not give a stimulus check to Americans that currently have a job. That's what we're hearing. According to reports, the chances of a $2,000 stimulus check passing with a $2,000 stimulus check per filer or per dependent passing as well before the January 5th Georgia Senate runoff, the chance of this happening are zero. Zero, according to multiple reports. What we are hearing from multiple sources is that with a silent Republican Party, they are most likely trying to stand united at this point, at this time, to try to win the Georgia Senate runoff. So, here's what we know. They're most likely content with staying quiet until January 5th. This is bad. This is bad. And I say this because if the Republican Party is content with staying silent to try to win at least one seat in the Georgia runoff, then we will not see a stimulus package pass until possibly after January 5th. After January 5th, that's over a week away. That's not good. This way, by Republicans standing united, staying quiet until after January 5th, they have a higher chance of winning at least one seat. Then we can expect more and more Republicans to come out and be very vocal after that election has been pretty much called. Most lawmakers at this point are not happy with where President Trump is, where President Trump stands at this time. Both Democrats and Republicans put in time to get a deal done, to get that $900 billion stimulus package, which is a bipartisan stimulus package. They put in the time to get that done, and now they're just calling to get it signed. That's all they want. We know Nancy Pelosi will have the House vote on multiple things on Monday. That's tomorrow. But many expect this to do absolutely nothing but go backwards to the days when Nancy Pelosi was playing those political games when she was trying to, hurt President Trump's re-election campaign. The House will vote on overturning President Trump's veto on the NDAA, and this will not get any Republican support. That's based on what we're hearing. But again, until we see what actually happens tomorrow, we don't know. The House will also vote on a continuing resolution. This will most likely happen at the end of the day. This will most likely pass. There will be some bipartisan support here. This will most likely get kicked over to the Senate, and the Senate will most likely pass this as well. However, the House will vote on something the Senate most likely will not pass. That is the $2,000 stimulus check. It will most likely pass through the House. It will be very simple. You're going to hear this. You're going to hear this tomorrow. Guarantee it. The $2,000 stimulus check passed. $2,000 stimulus check approved. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it on YouTube. You're going to hear it on social media. You're going to hear it on mainstream media. You're going to hear it everywhere. That a $2,000 stimulus check was passed, was approved. But here's what you need to understand. It's going to get passed through the House. It's going to get kicked over to the Senate. It's going to die on Mitch McConnell's desk. He won't even put it to a vote. He won't even put it to a vote. Guaranteed, he will not put this to a vote. So, this is all great that the House is trying to get something done, but Republicans will never go for this, and we know this. So right now, it's just another political game. These votes will be all for show unless we see Nancy Pelosi reach out to Mitch McConnell. We see Nancy Pelosi reach out to Steve Mnuchin, which at this point, all reports indicate Steve Mnuchin is not happy with President Trump. Steve Mnuchin doesn't want to work with President Trump. That's what we're hearing. So this isn't good. And with Republicans remaining silent at this time, this doesn't seem possible that we get any deal done anytime soon. Anytime soon. Unless we see a compromise. And at this point, the likelihood of compromise happening is higher than President Trump signing this bill, because the chances of him signing this bill at this point are zero. Zero. Now, in other news, at midnight last night, anybody that had unemployment effectively got their unemployment cut. Their unemployment benefits have been cut. Let me explain why. As for the $300 per week boost, well, as of midnight last night, being that President Trump did not sign this bill, that has now gone down it went from 11 weeks to now it's 10 weeks of the $300 per week unemployment boost. And this does not get extended. It's not retroactive. So every single week from now on that President Trump does not sign this stimulus package, the cutoff date is still March 14th. That is the end of 11 weeks. That does not get moved. The 11 weeks is a drop dead date. So what you need to keep in mind is for every single week President Trump delays signing this bill, anybody on unemployment loses $300 per week. $300 per week for every single week President Trump delays this. This started with this morning at 12:01, or at midnight, being that this was not signed, anybody on unemployment lost that $300 per week. So instead of getting the full 11 weeks, you will just get 10 weeks as of right now. And for all of you who are getting unemployment benefits through your state, your 39 weeks of unemployment pay has now lapsed. If you only got 39 weeks, that is it. You are done. What you need to understand is that the $300 per week unemployment boost is not retroactive. I just said this, but I want to be very clear. This means you already lost 1 week. You cannot go back and claim it for this morning. Let's say President Trump signs this, let's say this coming Friday. He could, this coming Thursday. He could, most likely he won't, but he could sign this. If that happens, you will not see any retroactive pay for earlier this week. You won't see it. So, if the bill is not signed by Saturday, January 2nd, you will lose another $300. So you'll go from 11 weeks that you would have got yesterday to 10 weeks that you're going to get now. If he doesn't sign it by Saturday, you will go from 10 weeks down to 9 weeks of unemployment benefits of $300 per week. That's not good. People on unemployment are needing money. Right now, we have one more day before the government possibly shuts down. simply because we only have a stopgap bill that actually ends tomorrow evening. So this week will be a pivotal week for all stimulus talks, for the government funding bill, for the NDAA, for President Trump, for both houses, for the House of Representatives and the Senate. It's going to be a pivotal week for the Georgia Senate runoff. It's going to be a very interesting week. However, hopefully it doesn't end in disaster. This week, we hope to see the hardest hit Americans, the hardest hit industries, receive some type of relief, some type of stimulus. What I can tell you right now is that President Trump has effectively made passing the $900 billion stimulus package a non-starter. He is not going to sign the current bill as it stands. We all know this, and he's reiterated this multiple times. As for Congress, going back to the negotiation table and reworking this bill, this is not even being discussed by many. Most don't want to open this bill back up and risk the chance of blowing up an entire bipartisan, bicameral agreement. They don't want to blow this up. Most are currently expecting just to repass this exact same bill come January 4th. And I say this because on January 3rd, this current bill dies with the 116th Congress. So, when the new Congress comes in, the 117th Congress, they will have to repass this exact same bill. But many are currently saying that right now, they just expect to repass this exact same bill on January 4th and leave it for whatever president wants to sign it. If President Trump wants to sign it, great. He can sign it as early as January 4th. But if he doesn't sign it on January 3rd, chances are he would not sign it on January 4th. So, they're pretty much just saying and pretty much coming to the conclusion that they need to pass this bill and then just wait for President Trump to leave office, which everyone expects to happen, and then Joe Biden were to take office after inauguration on January 20th, and he'd sign the bill. That's currently what's being said. That's currently what's being talked about. That's not good, because that means we have another month, like 26 days, something like that, before Joe Biden were to take office. So, the question right now is, how long will the government stay open through a continuing resolution that gets passed through the House on Monday? We haven't heard whether this is going to be for a one-day stopgap, a one-week stopgap bill, possibly a one-month continuing resolution. We don't know. And this is extremely important because this will dictate what the House feels is the best way forward. Here's what we know. If we see a one-month continuing resolution, then the House doesn't anticipate a deal to be done with President Trump in office. And that would be a clear sign that, okay, we're going to do a one-month continuing resolution, and if President Trump doesn't want to sign it, fine. That's okay. Because we're just going to kick the can down the road 1 month, and Joe Biden will do it. That's what we know. If we see a one-week stopgap bill, these are the two options, 1 month, 1 week. I highly doubt one day. Highly doubt it. If we see a one-week stopgap bill, then this shows that the House is open to a compromise somewhere. Open to a compromise somewhere. We don't know exactly where. It will most likely be that $2,000 per filer stimulus check. But if there's no compromise between the House and the Senate and the Republicans and the Democrats, we're not going to see any deal get done. So again, it's just for show. But I don't feel a need, and Congress or the House would not feel a need for a longer term continuing resolution for government funding if they go for a 1 week stopgap bill. Chances are that 1 week would not yield any better results. But here's what's currently being talked about. The other option would be for the House to pass a little bit larger, maybe a 2 week stopgap bill, where they hope that Democrats would win both seats in Georgia. Right now, what we're hearing is the election in Georgia will most likely get contested, especially if Democrats win. If Democrats win, it would probably take, let's see, what's today? Today's the 27th. So it's going to take, let's say, another week to get the election results, a little bit longer than that. So we would probably be about 3 weeks if this election is somewhat contested, if Democrats win both seats, I guarantee you, because this is what's being talked about, I guarantee you that if they win both seats, Republicans contest this election. They ask for recounts. I guarantee it's going to be close. They're going to ask for recounts. They're going to claim there's voter fraud. We know this. Whether there is or not, again, it's what Republicans can prove, which makes it very difficult. And this is the problem that President Trump is currently having, is he has all this evidence in some way, but a lot of people don't want to listen to it, and others don't care to even see or to look into this, whether these are facts or not. So this will be another contested election, which means we might not know who wins these two seats on January 5th. We might have to wait another 2 to 3 weeks. If that's the case, we might be getting a new president by the time that we find out who actually won the seats. And so again, the other option here for the House is to not only pass a 1-week stopgap bill, but potentially do something a little bit longer so that they could find out who wins the Georgia Senate runoff. That's the other option. Now, although these options could lead to, or all these options lead to stimulus at some point, we know that. But one takes far longer and would see the federal eviction moratorium expire, would see unemployment benefits expire, would see stimulus checks be delayed, vaccine funding would be delayed, and we could see another 100,000 small businesses close their doors for good. This is what we know. The results of a 1-month delay could literally mean life or death for many businesses and many people. Now, the news out today is very grim. Most people do not expect, most people in the media, most reporters do not expect a stimulus package to come anytime in the next few days. We just don't. But again, everybody has eyes on Mitch McConnell. Where is he? What's he doing? What's he thinking? What's his next move? That's what everyone's currently thinking. So, as I learn more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.